Hey, despite so many things happening tonight, it's quite remarkable how to be and just be and get up to speed and faster. So let's see. The things we have said, the things we will say, the things that we do. The sings that we do? For we sing, you see, with our vibration. And so much of it is that. And to remember is to drop it. There. Learning to notice where that balance point is, and which balance point it is. The peak of the pyramid, where the two pyramids meet. Have you seen that in your vision? You've seen the X? You know when you close your eyes and you see it in light, and there's that X, and it points to right in the center, right where your third eye is? That's a particular balance point, and it's one of great stability. The balance point that I refer to is the same balance point, but experienced differently. I don't see all the pieces yet, because I think that is what is meant by enlightenment. That is being that in full expression, because those moments are different than any other moment. And every moment is important, and every moment has virtue, and every moment is the moment it needs to be. And yet, we get to choose which point we express from. And really, it's the greatest gift, the gift given to give again, is this present moment. And it's love. Because love is not an emotion. Love is. As I mentioned before, how love has no opposite. Love is the blending of opposites. It's the convergence. It's the creativity. It's the... so many traps. So many tripwires. There's things going on, and we don't blame them, of course. It's not that. It's not that, because the balance point, remember? Because when we're at that balance point, we're unaffected by these energies. They go right around. I've seen it happen, too, at a very high point. There was this horrifying thing, and it was like, oh no, death! Except I didn't oh no, death that time. Instead, I was just being, and I just be in my peace and in comfort and in joy. It wasn't exactly comfort, it was more like discomfort. But then again, the blending of opposites and the love in the moment, it is both. And so I'm in that moment, and I see that the thing ran right at me, but it just went, and then was on the other side of me. It bent all around. It warped all around my vibrational field. Sort of like you've seen how, like when they show like starlight going around a star, you know, like a star behind a star, and then you see the star, and it bends the light around. It's the gravity of our being, the gravity of our thought, just bends the light right around, and it shoots on. So all the more reason why we never blame anyone for what they're feeling or thinking, and it would be ridiculous to do so. I mean, that's their thoughts, it's their feelings, it's their stuff. If we don't need it, if we don't want it, just don't pick it up. And if you picked it up, don't blame yourself, just give it back. And then you feel just fine. Because no one can do anything to you. It's not how it works. And it may seem that way, but when you realize just how quick these things are happening and just how fast you really are, when you are yourself in the moment, you're aware. Dude walks up, regardless of what his intentions are, regardless of what he's thinking of doing, as soon as he sees you, changes. As soon as you're interacting, changes. And that's the key, is the love of changes. And changing by way of love. And then you'll see that there's no victimhood, there's no people hurting people, although there are people hurting people. And how do we come to terms with that? By the blending of opposites. By the seeing that it's both. It isn't either or. There's no excuses. No cop-outs. Anyone who says, oh, there's no such thing as evil, so I'm going to go do evil things, doesn't see it yet. And it's sad, really, because they're missing out. The fullness of their expression and what can be, and yet instead taking advantage of people, hurting people, harming people, that ain't it. That ain't it. Yet do we see it yet? Because does that ever really happen? No excuses. Because we know that everyone is calling out for experiences to learn and grow from, and from the infinite perspective, there is no pain And yet, from our perspective, there definitely is. And we put it back. It's too much, and it's not a game. You see, it's not a game. Because we don't do that. It's not what it's about. Giving it back to the proper channels and over our shoulders. Very important. Keeping the balance. Keeping the truth. No excuses. Those who say, oh, some spooky thing jumped in and started running the show, I say, well, why did you give it permission to run the show? No excuses. Not how it works. We only ever choose and choose and choose again, and we choose from this present moment. All is forgiven, and all are forgiven. And oh, have I met some people. And with my upbringing and my 3D concept and my linear thinking, it was, oh no, watch out, they're dangerous. But then I let it go and I drop it because all fear is a lie, we drop it. And then we look again and we see, oh, it's everyone, everywhere. This, the being and expression, is everyone. And when you give them a chance, you'll realize that it was because they were afraid. No excuses. But so often and only that I have seen is it that when someone harms another deliberately or non-deliberately, it's from fear. So we help them clear it. And they may be themselves. Help them forgive themselves and all others. And it's not about condoning and it's not about condemning. It's about finding the truth. Because when you see the truth, everything changes. And think about the service that provides to others. If you see a man who everyone sees as violent, and you see him as love, and you help him to heal, and to understand himself more completely, then the next person who would have seen him violent sees him peaceful, or less violent. It's incremental, and every change is a change in the right direction. And see that service provided to others, and to him, and to yourself, because the more that you see the truth in another, you see the truth in yourself. And it really is this way. That those who wish to explore alternate dimensions and to meet other beings and to go on wonderful adventures, the greatest lesson is this present moment. Who are you talking to and how? And in which way? How can that interaction be more loving, more forgiving? How can you remain at a balance point and keep from being swept up? Because so often it is that. And then you will notice that as you travel interdimensionally, more worlds are open, and they're brighter worlds than they were before. Because all the worlds are stacked within each other. And in a sense, as above, so below means what you wish to be there, be here. Because it works the other way too, as below, so above. And so what we do in this world with each other becomes who we are. Who we are is who we are in all worlds, simultaneously. Chicken or egg, it's both, simultaneously. So we do it, and we do it now. Yes, because now is what is. Oh, it's a drop it. Ah! So fast you see these things happen, but it's old patternings, and we clear it as we may. Please help. And we get ahead of it. Because never again do we get swept up and say, oh no. Now we say, please help, what do I do? And when we ask for help, we jump, and we clear, and we breathe, and we apply every single thing that we know in that moment. And in that one moment, we bring all of ourselves to it. And we just be, and we let go, and we drop the past and the future. And then as soon as it's done, and we drop it. Now it's now. But always ask for help, because the angels want to help. And they're there to help. And the way in which they do is by helping us to do what we came here to do. They're not going to do it for you. That would be a disservice to both you and the world, and it causes an imbalance. It wouldn't be allowed. It's not how it works. And they know these things far more than I do, and far better. But they wait for your free will choice, and your choice to ask for help allows them to help. And they do always and instantly. And in fact, non-linearly. Which means as you ask for help now, they're helping you 3 years ago. And then you'll remember in that moment what happened then. Oh yes, I remember. And now it's different. Because then was different. But there is no then, there's only now. Do we see it yet? Do I see it yet? And so we keep looking because it is infinite. Anytime you think you got it figured out, you don't. And anyone who says they do, they're lying. They're lying because they feel insecure. They feel like they have to have it figured out to be taken seriously, or that they need to have it figured out to be safe, or maybe it's a power thing. They want to control other people, and so they know that if they say they have it figured out and people believe them, then they'll be duped. And it's awful. But also, it's learning, because those who are duped never duped again. However, remember, the pendulum swings, one extreme to the other, and then in the center it's both. And in the center is this present moment, and in this present moment is when all is, and all is love. And how can all be love when things happen, when people do things that don't seem very loving to me? And we're starting to see, oh, as I put it back, you see we picked up something and we didn't mean to. Be willing and able to drop thoughts instantly, even in the midst of it. It's an important skill. It'll help a lot. Sometimes I start a sentence and after 2 or 3 words I just drop it. Because that ain't it. And we know it by how we feel. Because how you feel in this present moment is the most important thing. The most important thing to attend to. The most important lesson is right now. And do it now. Because if you're feeling off, attend to it instantly. It's never too late. Don't worry that it's too late, that you've been feeling it for hours. Do it now. You've been feeling it for minutes. Do it now. You've been feeling it for 0.3 of a second. Do it now. It's never too soon. It's never too late to attend to how you're feeling. And you do it by asking. Now, for one, you're asking, how do I get clear of this? I don't like this. Or if you do like it, just be like, oh, I really like that, and appreciation of it. And yeah, and then we sift and we sort and we find the way. And there are skills, like what I just did right then, jumping into the waterfall and what that's all about. I'd very much like to teach these things. And anyone who wants to learn, just ask. You can ask in the comments. I'm going to post my website once it's up. I haven't quite made it yet. Maybe we have. Yeah. Do I see it yet? Do I see it yet? Because how do I help? It sure will be nice when that sort of thing stops happening. But we don't complain. Just what do I need to do to change? Because realize there's probably been tens of thousands of years that I've been doing things a particular way, practicing it, getting really good at it, and now come to find out that was never the thing to do. So maybe it was, but it isn't anymore. And so how do we change? And so we change by doing it now. That I attend to it each and every step. And so every time I jump in the waterfall, I jump up a little more information. It gets a little clearer about what did I do just then. There's something in between my ribs. There's something in the right shoulder area. There's something, from the wound across the forehead there, which is largely healed. And I guess, 23 more days until it's healed? And that'll be excellent. We don't know what that means yet, but we don't have to. But we know that it's true.